First, though, I want to talk about Dame Dash. Dame Dash has recently revealed that he wants to resolve the Jay-Z issues, which, I think every group or every person in the music, well, not every person in the music industry, I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but eventually groups or people that have fallen out, that have worked together for a really long time, eventually want to get back together, or I don't want to say the losing side, because that's kind of disrespectful to Dame Dash, but the side that didn't really win that much, the side that's just dominating usually doesn't care to entertain it because they've moved on. Perfect example, G-Unit, what's going on with 50, what's going on with Buck and all these other people. 50 doesn't really care to resolve it because he's moved on. He's doing movies, killing tours, blah, blah, blah. So Dame Dash is kind of in a situation where every time he does an interview, he gets asked about Jay-Z. He tells people stop asking him about him. He wants to move on from the situation, but, you can't escape something that's part of your history unless you've done something brand new that kind of makes people forget. And Dame Dash, no disrespect, he hasn't really done anything major on a major scale to make people forget about, the whole Rockefeller thing that he's worked on with Jay-Z. So let's go over the article. Dame Dash has said he's ready to have a sit-down with Jay-Z to discuss their falling out, but not before his conditions are met. Dash recently sat down with the Vibe editor-in-chief, Datwan Thomas, on the CEO show. During the nearly hour-long conversation, Dash talked about his former Rockefeller partner. The label, formed by Dash and Jay and Kareem Biggs, was dissolved acrimoniously in mid-aughts. What? Mid-aughts? He said that he'd be willing to have a conversation with Jay-Z to talk about their differences, but only if certain things happen. Dash said he'll speak with Jay-Z if the rap superstar agrees to talk about the people that didn't make the money and try to help. Those people, while not named explicitly, seem, given the context of the conversation, to be former Rockefeller artists. So let me play the clip for you guys so you guys can listen for yourselves.
So where I'm at now is that if Rockefeller and the ones that weren't billionaires want to get money on the right terms, I'm down. And
Meaning what?
Meaning if Jay wants to fucking have a conversation and talk about the people that didn't make the money and try to help and do it on the terms.
What's stopping that conversation? A phone call? Like you calling him calling you? What's stopping that conversation? Because now we got like a 10-year gap from Shaka's birthday party.
Listen to me. I think because I'm doing my own thing and he's doing his own thing that it's just not like our agenda. I don't know. And again, there's things, and I don't want to get into it, that morally I can't be a part of, and I'm not going to get into it.
No. I understand that part. I understand that part.
So there's things active that are, morally.
Yeah.
But if he could just shed all the things that I don't like immorally, and all the people that have done things that are doing things that, morally I can't fuck with, and if we could just fuck with just family. So if you notice, Freeway was here, and it was just, if it's just us... and we could do it without all the bullshit, because that's what separated us, was everybody else. But this is my thing.
Remove Freeway from it. Remove all the artists from Rockefeller.
Talk to Jay, bro.
No.
I'll have a conversation with any man.
This is my thing, though. This is my thing for you, though.
I'm saying this.
He's the godfather of your son.
Well, that was a title he had, but he has.
But no. That's not a title that he had. That's a title that's still there. Because if y'all come back together, that's still there. And that means hold on. That means at one point, you said that was my brother enough to have the person that I made life with.
Bro, he's still my brother.
That's what I'm talking about. But people don't necessarily.
Remember I told you I'm not speaking to my natural brother, my half brother. We're not on a non-speaking thing, but you got to remember there's lawsuits that have happened. There's a lot of shit that's happened.
But Dame, you have a line.
So Dame Dash feels like Jay-Z hasn't done right by his artists, potentially on the label. Maybe he's talking about staff as well. And I've heard a lot of stories about that. Beanie Siegel is someone who's voiced his frustration with Jay-Z and said that, he made it feel like it was a family, but when it came to business, he never cared. He just left us hanging in a lot of situations. And here I go back to 50 again, always going back to 50, I know. 50 would treat his artists a lot more closer, a lot more personal, a lot more brother-like. And there's millions of stories of that where 50's taking care of people, making sure that they're good, and yet, he still runs into issues with a lot of these people, and then people take advantage of it. That's that side of that happens. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. Like Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks, they're still loyal to 50, even though 50 and Banks ain't talking. Banks has never said one bad thing about 50 publicly, ever. So I don't know why Banks and 50 ain't talking. That's their, thing. But, the people 50's looked out for, majority of them, were cool with him and always shown love. Now, of course, you're going to get people that, like Game, for example, that have, distaste towards him for whatever reasons. And then Buck had his own little things here and there, and certain other artists and certain other people. But, then you have like the MOPs that were signed to G Unit and said 50 made sure we ate. We didn't even release an album under G Unit, yet we still got paid like we were releasing albums. So then you got the Jay-Z side where pretty much everybody, besides maybe a few people like Memphis Bleak, have said that Jay-Z hasn't looked out for them at all. Just kind of left them for dry. So regardless, I think both, no matter which way you treat your artists, you're going to have some sort of backlash. There's going to be someone that says, I haven't been compensated for this. I haven't this, even though they're not looking at the other things that the person has looked like. Like, I don't know how people come to a point where they feel like that this person, another grown man, owes them for something unless they provided a service. I feel like there's a lot of entitled people that just end up in great positions, but they're so entitled, or they feel like, they should get more. Not everybody can be the boss and the star in a situation. And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you less of a person. That doesn't make you, that doesn't mean that you're not contributing to something great. You could be a part of a great thing, and you don't have to be the lead CEO, the boss of everything. And I've been in positions where I wasn't the lead in things. Now, recently, as the years have gone on, I've been in positions where I'm in the lead in a lot of things. And even like when I was doing the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary, I was the lead in everything. I was the one that was paying for everything. I was the one making sure that, if people got into arguments or things went left or right, I tried to patch those things up and move on with the situation, because you're dealing with a lot of different people, different personalities. And in that position, there can be people that are jealous and envious of you. And I actually got that from the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary. There's one person that I fired that's no longer with me who I felt was jealous and envious, and it came through during that time when we were shooting the documentary. I held back on it because I wanted to finish the project without it interrupting the project, because I felt that energy during when we were, doing the work that we were doing. But this individual, after like a month of shooting it, we got done with everything. He, I ultimately ended up firing him because, he was just talking out of line, saying wild things, not listening, and I was giving him a bunch of creative, freedom. Like 90% of the stuff that he was doing, he did on his own. I didn't have to approve or nothing. I was just like, yo, do it. I encourage it. I would always encourage it. But, you're going to get people that get jealous of where you're at and stuff like that. And then they're going to start making up things and saying you're a bad person and you didn't do this and didn't do that, when in reality, you did a lot for them. So, and Jay-Z, he gets that type of reputation where it's like he's not looking out for people. But I think, in my opinion, it could be looked at both ways. But in my opinion, I think if somebody just gives you the shot, at that point, it's up to you whether you run with it or not. Like Jay-Z gave J. Cole the shot, and J. Cole ran with that thing. Why did J. Cole blow up and everybody else did? It's because J. Cole just had it. He just had that thing. Jay-Z signed him, Rock Nation, boom. All he did was feature him on the Blueprint 3. That's it. In the song, Every Day a Star is Born. Yeah, why am I tripping? I'm trying to sing like the hook, but the title's called, that's the first time I ever heard of J. Cole, by the way. It was on that Jay-Z Blueprint 3, A Star is Born. And that's when I looked into J. Cole. I was like, who is this guy? And then boom, found out more and more, mixtapes, all that. But that little shot that he gave him, signed him, after that, it's all up to J. Cole. I think that's a fair, approach to things, man. It's business at the end of the day. But if you do also manipulate, like Beanie Siegel said, Jay-Z would say things like it's La Familia, it's family. If it's family, you look out more for the person if it's actually family. But you can't blur those lines, because that's not fair to the person, because they're assuming this, and you get something totally different. So I get what Dame Dash is for the people, and and he said, morally there's some things that I want to align with, and I've heard some crazy Jay-Z stuff, man. I've heard some really, really weird Jay-Z stuff. So I get where he's coming from that. I know what he's talking about relating to that type of stuff, but he's basically saying if Jay-Z does right by the people that were with him before, then yeah, we can have a conversation about just being cool with each other. But Jay-Z doesn't care, man. Jay-Z's a billionaire, worth 2-3 billion, I think, or whatever amount he's worth, 1.5 billion, 2 billion, whatever. It doesn't matter at that point. Once you're a billionaire, an extra billion or two doesn't really change your lifestyle at all. I don't think he cares, man. I think, this can go out there in headlines. Jay-Z, I don't think he even uses the internet like that. Maybe he does. Maybe he's manipulating us all because people say, he's very up to date on things and he watches and he, because there's a fan that came up. I don't know if it was a fan or just somebody who was just joking around, came up to him and said, I'll take the 500,000 instead of the dinner. Because there's always this conversation, would you take 500,000 or dinner with Jay-Z? And I don't know why the fuck anybody would take dinner with Jay-Z over $500,000. I wouldn't take dinner with 50 over $500,000. I don't give a what? 500,000, that's going to change my life if I spend it correctly. Like dinner with 50 is cool, but it's not like, what is that guy going to do for me that's going to give me $500,000 on the spot? Unless he signs me to something or I get a deal with them on something, then I could see that, but that's not going to happen. It's just dinner with the person. So, yeah, always take the money. If you ever get asked some stupid question like that, don't be the person who takes the dinner, unless it's like 10,000 in dinner with your favorite artist. So, 10,000 ain't too bad. Like that's something that I could get over, not getting over dinner with, somebody like 50 or anybody that I look up to or, aspire to be business wise, Elon Musk, whoever, like those type of people that I would, it'd be cool to have a conversation with them over like $10,000, 5,000, somewhere around there. That's still a lot of money, granted, but I would, I'd be willing to throw that away to get dinner with that person. But something like 500,000, things that can change your life. No, guys, don't do that. Even 100,000, 50,000, 20,000. Like the lowest, probably 10,000. Anyways, that's a whole different conversation. But the guy came up to him jokingly and said, I'll take the 500,000. Jay-Z laughed because he knew, that's a social media thing. That's always been going on. So Jay-Z pays attention to the internet. I'm sure Jay-Z's going to see this interview, and he's probably going to. I don't know if he's going to ever consider it. That's kind of being naive in my opinion. I don't think he's even going to consider it. I think he's just going to kind of brush it off like it is what it is. This is just Dame Dash being asked about me the 90th millionth time. So it would be cool though, man. I would like to see Dame Dash and Jay-Z back together. I think they've done legendary things, and just a relationship, just to at least patch it up. That would be cool. They ain't got to do business together, but just to be together in the same room would be really cool to see. So, yeah, hopefully it happens, man. That would be really, really, really dope.